Hello, I wish you all a very happy, successful, and prosperous New Year 2024. This is the time of the year wherein all of us want to see what we are going to do in this year. And one of the things that naturally comes to in this particular part is creating the plans. All of us are all of us are very pretty good at creating the plans, and this is one of the time when we want to really see what's going to come our way and what is it that we can achieve in this year. So at this time, when we are looking at the planning on various aspects, let's start looking at how do we go and create a plan. Before I get into the conversation, let me try and understand how many of you actually started doing your planning for this year. Anybody of you who has started looking at the plan, what they are going to do this year? Okay. So while we wait for the responses, let me try and understand what's your perspective when you want to look at the planning. The planning, when it comes to particularly MSMEs, is a very, very vague subject and something that not many within the MSME circle are very comfortable with. A lot of MSMEs I have seen are very, very practical oriented people who believe a lot more in actually the execution part of it, doing the right thing, getting the job done, compared to getting into a very detailed assessment of what is it that they are going to do in the next financial year. They are not great at that. They are very firm believers of making the impact, making the things real, and that is when they keep on doing a lot of work, which is very practical. But at the same time, the whole planning, the particular aspect of what is it that we are going to achieve, sometimes ends up missing. And what could be the reasons for that? The fundamental reason that I've seen in this particular industry is not a belief in the fact that we have a lot of dynamics at play. Okay. One of the reasons that whenever you talk to the MSME owners and ask them about the plans or the work, they would say, no, we are a very complex business. We have so many things that keep on happening parallelly. So it's very difficult for us to assess what would happen at one point in time. But is it really the case? Is it the fact that the business is so complex that we are really not even able to map it to a certain extent? Or is it the fact that we don't really want to get in with the hard numbers? My belief, and which is unfortunately the fact, is that not many promoters themselves are very comfortable about discussing the numbers. Could be a variety of reasons for that. There are people who are not great at those particular numbers. There are people who want to believe that things will happen, they may not happen. There are dynamics at play. A lot of things happen, a lot of things people discuss. But particularly in the MSME, people are not very good at preparing the plans at elaborate level. They will have if you go and talk to somebody, they will have an overall plan. So this is what is the number that will look like. We are working on this particular part. These many orders we get. Based on this order, this is what is the expected revenue. This is the turnover that we can expect. This is the profitability I can expect. These are what is the number of people that I need. You will have those typical back of the envelope calculations all the time. But when it comes to a real business plan, a lot of them shy away. We are not very comfortable with the numbers. The numbers when it comes to financials, the number when it comes to putting the things in absolute terms. A lot of times, a lot of MSME owners typically don't even give the complete picture to everyone. People know only the information in silos, and they believe that that's the best way to operate because somebody may leave, he may carry the important information. And for a variety of reasons, you don't really get the right set of plan. And because then there is no proper, solid, concrete plan in place, there are always variables that you are not able to control. And this is what leads to MSME struggling for a very long period of time. So today, we are going to make an attempt to see if you can overcome this struggle and come up with a very simple document that will help you assess how you are able to plan your business effectively for the coming calendar year, and also you can go and elaborate that for the next financial year as well. So let me share with you a very simple template that I believe can be a very good starting point for you to see how you can plan your financials for this calendar year. First, try and understand what are the things that we actually do. Okay, you can look at what are the different kind of products or services what you are selling. What is the unit price for this particular part? What is the quantity that you are selling? And just start looking at this part. Okay, so now that's cool. So we have some responses on this particular part. So Mohit wants to start a gym into fitness place. So let's see if we can do something around the fitness part. So for a fitness part, say that your product one is your monthly subscription. Okay. Product 2 is your annual package that you want to sell. Product 3 is the weight loss package that you want to sell. Product 4 could be the strength gaining part that you can sell. Product 5 could be some specific programs that people will be looking for. So this basically gets you create 5 different products. Now you define a product for the price for this. Assume that a particular membership which is coming in just as a come and work in the workout for yourself in the gym, price could be say about 2000 rupees per person, and you will have about 50 people doing that. So you know that with this particular part, the product 1 will fetch you about 1 lakh rupees per month. Product 2 could be same fitness along with a coach. Now that can be about 8,000 rupees, and you expect say 10 people to opt for that. So that gives you 80,000 rupees. So the moment you are able to structure this, you would be able to see what are the different, what is the revenue that each of these particular products can get. Okay. Now with this part, now let's see what are the expenses for this. Now expenses are into 2 parts, and I think this is very important for you to understand how you need to look at it. There are certain costs which are going to be fixed. You would need some particular, if you have a space, you would need you need to pay the rental for that. You would need manpower. There will be some fixed electricity costs that you would have to pay. If you have raised some funds for that, if there are some loans, then there are EMIs that you will need to pay. Plus, there could be some other additional part in terms of if you are taking the equipment on these, you need to pay the EMI, or there could be some few of the other charges that you need to pay in a particular business that you would need to do. Local charges, your society charges, the maintenance charges, some of the advertising, whatever the work that you have agreed for, whatever the long-term contracts that you have signed for, put them all of them into fixed cost. And then see what are the other variable costs. Now, from a sales perspective, if you are hiring people to go out each part, if you are doing campaigns, the other thing that will keep on changing every month and will depend on what is the kind of exposure that you want in a particular month. So factor something on this particular part. Any kind of material that you will need to buy for your business if you're into manufacturing, or particularly for the gym, the consumables that you will get, say the energy drinks that you will get, or any kind of shakes that you will get. These are the things that you would need. Additional manpower could be something that you need, particularly just to manage something more like you're conducting an event. So you would need some few set of people to come over and help you manage that particular event. That's some additional manpower which is temporarily required. There could be other things in terms of running the campaigns, whatever that you would be requiring additionally. These are not something that you would need to pay per month. So these are all variable costs. So you hire somebody, you hire some celebrity to come over and work with you for a month, or you make some kind of arrangement, any kind of promotional things that you want to do. All of these things you can put into this particular plan here. And that will tell you these are the costs that are going to vary, and these are the costs that you need to pay per month for the period that you have agreed. Both of them put together will give you what is the overall cost. Okay. Is this particular part clear, or do you have some any issues where you would like to understand something more on these particular aspects? One of the things that you would also look at is that in case you are starting, or if you already have, say, a manufacturing business, then how do you look at this part? My view is that you can look at your current year's data as a base for you to get this cost. Like whatever that has happened in the last 12 months, if you take an average, that will typically give you what is it that you are spending per month. And you can use that particular amount for creating your benchmark. So once you know what is the revenue that you are going to get, once you know what are your expenses, then you come to the profitability. Now this is the simplest of the calculation. You have revenue on one side, you have the profitability, you have the cost on this particular side, and this will give you how much you are going to earn every month. The important factor after this is how you are going to manage this. So when you start a business, when you are starting this financial year, you would be starting with some opening balance, some amount that you already have, and that particular amount, then you need to see how much you are going to spend every month and how much you are going to collect every month. And based on that, you need to see how your cash flow is moving. Okay. So this is the template. Let me also show you how things will actually move. So let's build up an example from the product line. Let's assume that we are going to get product 1, the unit price is say about 2000 rupees. We are going to get 50 people here. I get a revenue here. That's my revenue. Product 2, we have at 8,000 rupees and we get 10. This is the revenue that we are generating. Now let's see what are the expenses that we have for this. The rental cost that we need to pay 50,000 rupees as a rental. When you want to look at the manpower, you would need say about 3 trainers who are going to cost you another 40, another say 60,000 rupees. Electricity would be about say 5,000 rupees. And for the work that you're doing, if you're taken some for any kind of EMI, you say you need to pay another 25,000 rupees for this. This is your cost. Okay. Now for initial promotion, you decide to invest 30,000 rupees. Material, you start at base. There is no additional manpower that you are looking at here. So this is the only cost that we see. Okay. Now let's see where do we stand. So my revenue and my costs are currently at the same level. But if you fail to get these 50 people and you get say only 20 people in the month of Jan, then you are basically in negative. Okay. So the same thing will happen in your cash flow also. You need to identify what is it that you are going to collect in every particular month. Are you going to work on the advance basis, or are you going to work in a part where somebody is going to pay you after a particular part? Because all the other expenses that you have, particularly all the fixed expenses in here, all of them you would need to pay in that month itself. There is no possibility for you to pay them later. All of them will need to be paid upfront, whereas you may get the money at some other point or at a later stage. And this is when it's important for you to see how you will be able to float, how you will be able to manage your cash flow. Do you have somebody who wants to basically this part? Manage the question in this. Kabir, you would get the template anyway. I'll be sharing the template here in the group only, so that you would have that template. Now, the challenges that you saw is the problems that you want to identify when you are creating a plan is what comes out when you start putting in this data. Okay. The reason why I've been requesting all of you to look at this particular template and start putting in the data is for you to see how my cash flow will move. Okay. A lot of times you would realize that when you look at the product, you may realize that the product itself is very profitable. But I get the money after 3 months, whereas I need to pay my vendors right upfront. So my payment cycle today, I need to pay everybody upfront right now, whereas I get the money after 3 months. So which means that for me to be sustainable, I need 3 months money right away. If I don't have it, then I am not able to survive. So managing or plotting that particular cash flow is the first thing that you need to look at. That's the problem number 1. Second problem that you need to look at is that you also need to look at your unit-wise profitability. Now, here in the example that we looked at the gym, what is it that you would be able to sell? My product-wise profitability. So I get 3 top-class trainers to come in and work with me. They cost me say 50,000 rupees per month, and you start investing 1.5 lakh rupees per month for those particular trainers only, right? Whereas the people who are coming to my place are not the ones who are coming in with the idea that I'm going to work with a trainer. They are the more people on the cardio side who just want to come keep themselves fit, and they have got right now you have got all the game on YouTube and all the apps, right? So they want to just come do some basic exercises and go there. In that particular part, having 3 trainers will not make sense. So establishing that profitability of that particular product is very important, because then you know that okay, if this is the case, then I don't need 3 senior trainers. Probably I need just one who's going to take care of the people that I already have, and I may hire 2 juniors. Okay, generally roam around with these people, help them correct their postures and all, and as and when required, I basically get them into my paid program, and only then I have the additional paid program, which is going to need more people to go and work with those part of the personalized training. That is where you change. So this is about establishing that unit profitability. So first bit is looking at your cash flow. Second part is establishing your unit profitability. These are the 2 challenges that you would experience. The third challenge that you would experience in this particular part is also seasonality. Okay, so if your business is seasonal, wherein there is going to be a lot of traction in one particular area, and then you don't get the similar traction throughout the year, that is also a very huge part, which makes a huge impact on the cash flow. So it's very important for you to factor that seasonality when you are creating it. Usually what happens is that when you go and look at any of the small businesses, These small businesses are used to operating in a certain way, and they have certain cycles that get established over a period of time. So they know that, okay, there's a festive season, so I need to ramp up. There's going to be, say, monsoon, when there are going to be sales and all, for them to ramp up, clear up the old stock, get that inventory part right. So these are natural things that happen when you look at even the small traders who do that. But particularly in case of MSMEs, if you don't do this very, very clearly and we don't factor the seasonality well, then we end up with a lot of cash flow situations. So these are the things that you will see. Does that make sense? Great. So now let me go back to the template and walk you through some different situations on how things will look at it and how that will then make an impact. Okay. So let's study some situations here and see if we are able to get some more insights here. Now let's build up on this, the two examples that we have taken, and let's copy this for the rest of the year and we'll see what happens. So this is, we are assuming that everything is going absolutely in the steady state mode and we are not looking at any changes over here. But see, this doesn't happen in the reality, right? There are always certain things that will keep on changing. Particularly say that every year your owner wants to change your, want to increase the rent by 10%. So how would you factor? How do you look at your sales cost? How you are going to change that so that you decide to, we are going to now go less on the material cost. 3 months we are going to invest, then we are going to take a 4-month break, and then we again start investing only at 10,000 rupees. Now, similarly on the other side, let's say that we are able to get this subscription moving from 20 to 25. Let's say that we end up actually adding 5 people each every month. Okay, and this, let's say that we add only 2 people. So this is how we are building it up. Now we have the expense on one side. Now see the profitability. We are in trouble in few months, and then over a period of time, we are now making more and more money. Now let's see what happens in case of cash flow. Okay. So here there are 2 assumptions. Okay. So with this side, we know the cash flow is not about what is the money that you are going to make. This is about theoretical profit that you are going to get if you are able to collect the money just like that what you have planned. But you need to see, are you really going to get that money in your account on that particular day? Okay, let's assume that we are starting with, so there is nothing here. So let's say that you want to start totally afresh. Okay. Now your payment is going to be, the moment you start your business, your payment is done. So you have to pay. Okay. So the payment is, that's something that you need to pay. Now see how you are going to collect your revenue. Okay. If you are going to get all this particular money in advance, all the sale that you have done, and you go and you get the entire money in advance, then you just need to be basically bothered about first few months, and then May onwards you are going to be cash positive. So if you just need to operate for these 3 months for the peak period, so even with just an amount of say about 1 lakh rupees if I put it, so if you have just say amount of around 1 lakh rupees if you when you are starting this business, you will be able to see it through. Only one shortfall at this part, right? So you just need, when you are starting the business, you need this cash reserve with you for you to remain operational throughout. Assuming that you are not able to achieve this and your payment cycle is say 30 days and people pay you at the end of the month. You are paid, it is not that you are not paid. Now see what happens. Now with this particular part, you need a far more amount that you will start making the money only in the month of June. Agree? So when you are operating, so if you don't have a balance to start with here, you need a far more amount to build it up. Okay. If you, so you will need, so you need 2,74,000 of balance for you to work and operate in this particular period. If this particular thing gets stretched to 60 days, so your collections move to 60 days, your requirement goes even bigger. That is the significance of looking at how you are going to manage. If you have a business which is more seasonal, right, wherein the people basically come in, say every year we have a lot of people who are enthusiastic to join early morning and then there is a dropout. Assuming that we have a very good number to start with and then people lose. Okay. Say that July, August, September, people don't turn up. And then there's again an ramp which is happening. Expenses remain the same. Right? where working keeps on changing. That's why it is very important for us to understand what is our impact, how we are going to look at the business, how things are going to change for us, and how that would keep on making impact, keep on making the cash flow different based on what are the situations that we are facing at any point in time. Is it making sense? Great. So I share this particular template with you. I look at this particular, and also we look at how we are able to, how you'll be able to use it in your business. Feel free to reach out to us on this platform itself regarding if you have any doubts on how this particular template can help and how it would work. But my request is please be as honest with yourself as possible on how you're able to build up the template. Because without a proper template and without a proper plan, it's going to be very difficult for you to execute effectively in the years to come. If I just want to look at your statistics, statistically, if you have a proper plan, you stand a 30% higher chance of succeeding in a year. All studies that you look at it, people will come in at anywhere between 70 to 30% is the typical range of the probability of success increasing the moment you have a proper plan. Secondly, if you look at it from all the different philosophies perspective as well, whatever that you are able to conceive properly, put it on a piece of paper, put it in a proper working part and create and build something, there's a very good chance of it manifesting. But if you're not even creating that particular part with absolute clarity, it is very difficult for the things to even manifest. Right? So no matter which kind of philosophy that you're following, it's very important for you to create something, get something meaningful so that you are able to get the right results in the days to come. Okay. On this particular part, okay. So we have, I think I have addressed particular part. The possible problems, I would look at it on three particular parts. First is getting your revenue matrix right in terms of what is the revenue configuration that you are going to use, how many products you are going to look at it, what is going to be the cost for those particular products so that those particular products remain profitable at the individual level. That is the first thing. The second thing that you need to look at is managing how you are able to get your profitability per month and getting your cash flow corrected on this particular part. That's the second one. Third thing that you would need to look at is on the collections, on how we are able to collect. Because once you are able to collect it, once you are able to collect the money, then only it makes sense. The only reality in life is the money we are bank, particularly when it comes to business. Because these days we are seeing a lot of stretched payment cycles. So you need to work on the plan to see to that you are getting the money in your account. That's the reality. Yusuf, analyzing the competitors is can be done on multiple tracks. Okay, let's build on this template. Okay, now we have a plan. So you have identified that these are the 5 products. This is what I can say. Okay, at this point, then you can go and see that what is my competition to each of this product. Okay, particularly if you look at the gym, the biggest competitor is that people not doing anything. Okay, are people going for a walk, not coming to the gym? People going for a yoga. Well, these are all different means of keeping yourself healthy. They are all in the real business sense are a competition for you. Okay, so people who want to stay healthy, but people who just want to run. People who want to stay healthy by getting into Zumba. People who want to stay healthy, but want to get into only into diet-related programs with very light exercise. Or some generic exercise in the park. People who have created some yoga group and practicing that in the park compared to going to a particular gym. So all of that basically become a kind of competition for you. So the moment you start structuring your products correctly, you will be able to identify who are your competitions. Now on these same competitions, you can analyze them on the same parameters. Like what is the price point at which my competition is selling, at what price point I am selling. Okay, so your sales part is the prices you can compare. Secondly, what's the volume? A lot of times it happens that because somebody is selling at a very high volume, they are able to get a far better price. So you would that will give you the analysis of why somebody is able to sell at a lower price and compared to what you are selling. So that's one analysis that the template will give you. The other part that you would look at is how they are structured. Particularly, are they very nimble? The setup wherein they can go and just be very, very flexible. People can go and do a lot of things, or they are very, very asset heavy, and that is what will basically make them basically operate only at a certain level. Because if you already have a lot of teams, already a lot of assets with you, then it is important for you to get that much of revenue, the moment your revenue goes down below a particular level, or profitability particularly goes down below a particular level, they would not be able to sustain that entire cost structure. So in that case, if you just go and cut corners and somewhere bring that whole pricing down, your competitors will find it very difficult to survive at their price point. They will need to either change or they will perish because they don't really see that particular profit in that part. So that is something that you can analyze as well. And the other part is you also need to see how they are operating at the payment terms. This is very important for you to understand how the market is operating. Just because you want to enter into a market, if you start offering the terms and all, you not only end up messing up with your own cash flow, but you also end up messing up with the whole market. So it's very important for you to see how things really, people really move, and then accordingly position yourself. Swati, this particular plan is on monthly basis, and I strongly recommend that you need to see this on a monthly basis only. You have to look at this part because a quarter is little too long a period in today's context for you to make corrections. The reason for us to plot this at a monthly level is to see what is it that I had planned to spend, how much I have actually spent. What is the revenue that I was supposed to get? What's the revenue that I got? What was the price point at which I was planning to sell, and at what price point I have sold? So these are the things that you need to do on a month-on-month basis for you to make all these corrections. So I would request you to plan on a monthly basis and also try that on a monthly basis. It's important. You need to, the way the market is moving today, I think a monthly is absolutely good one. You can't really go beyond that period. Any other questions today? So feel if you don't really have the questions at this point in time, but when you start filling in, I am sure you would have certain questions at that point in time also. Feel free to ask those questions in the group, and I'll be happy to answer all of them. The template will be shared within the group shortly. You can download and you can start using this particular template. Okay. Thank you everyone for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next week on the AMA, wherein we are going to have somebody who's going to talk far more on the more lucrative or more energetic part of it, which is going to be around 19. Thank you.